If you're in my line, I'ma go around the side and still bring it. Sky is the limit, out of my way. You can't get me down. No time for the weekend.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. Hello again. Hello again. Hey,
Holy cow.
By the way, what you're listening to here is the Fantasy Corner of San Diego Sports Junkies. I'm your host, Steve-O, and with me, as always, a couple of the junkies. I got Justin and Jason. What's up, gentlemen?
What's up, buddy?
Welcome back.
Hey, it's good to be back.
Happy Thanksgiving, happy all that stuff.
Yeah, happy fantasy playoff time. I mean, it's an exciting time of year.
Playoffs? What you talking about?
That is the topic of this week's show, playoff time, okay? We grinded, all year to get to where we're at, and hopefully you made it through this first round, okay? I, unfortunately, did not.
Me neither, brother.
It was a tough one.
It's been a rough year.
So let's explain what's going on here, okay? Playoffs, this is the thing. It's one and done. There ain't no redos. This is not a tournament. This is one and done. You lose, you're out.
Right.
And unfortunately, I was like very high seeded
Yeah.
in all these leagues, and you get a bad week.
Yeah.
So what leads to those bad weeks, Justin?
Injuries lead to those bad weeks.
Okay, injuries, and then also just the random duds.
Just the random duds.
The funny thing is, while it's right in the middle of playoffs or right in the beginning of playoffs for you, for the players, it's just a regular game.
Yeah.
You know,
It's just
kind of funny how that works out.
It's just week 14 for these guys. Yeah. However, I highly doubt that Peyton Manning thought to himself, listen, I got guys riding their whole season on me right now.
Right.
See,
Let's have my first game without a touchdown.
Hey, and I'll tell you what, one of these days, you know what, the best, 2-3 years ago when Maurice Jones-Drew apologized to all of his fantasy owners?
Right.
I love the guy.
Yeah.
He sucks now in Oakland. I don't care. He still is like, dude, he knows people are banking on him to have a game, you know?
100 yards.
So let's talk about a couple of these first-round playoff duds that literally, I know half of you guys are kicking and screaming. And these are big names. Big names that literally took you down because these are names that got you to the playoffs, and they're the same people that just got you kicked out of the playoffs. First and foremost, I want to talk about Peyton freaking Manning. Okay? Peyton Manning drafted very high early in the season. He was probably a first-round pick for you. You spent a lot on him, and guess what? Guess what you got out of him all year? You got stud numbers all year. The guy is the most consistent, hit behind Andrew Luck. There's no better quarterback fantasy-wise in the league than Peyton Manning.
Right.
How about Aaron Rodgers? How did he rank with those two guys?
He's high up there.
Rodgers is top 3.
Yeah.
Peyton Manning. He's at home versus Buffalo, and I'll tell you what, hey, that Buffalo D, that's no joke. Okay? They shut Peyton Manning down to 173 yards, 0 touchdowns.
What do you think about Peyton? You think he's on the downside here?
People said that about Brady. Hey, as you get older, you're going to get older, right?
Well, I understand. I'm talking arm strength, and I'm not saying that's all that has to do with it.
The thing is Peyton Manning is such a game. He controls the game, every aspect of it. He is, for the Broncos, he's still going to be a starter 4 years from now. I'm almost guaranteeing it. For fantasy, he's going to be a top 2-round pick for the next, while he's still in the league. And that's just the way it is. Peyton always puts up stats. He prides himself on being one of the best players in the league. And unfortunately, Week 14 came up. He was at home versus Buffalo. And they walked away with a win. Mm-hmm. But, man, his stat line got smoked. 173 yards, 0 touchdowns. Oh, also, his consecutive game with the touchdown streak has ended also.
Right.
3 games shy of my boy Breeze.
Wow.
So Peyton Manning, I guarantee you, if he's on your team in the playoffs, he's one of the guys that got you there, and he's probably the one that killed you, and now you're sitting there watching everybody else play. So I apologize.
Welcome to fantasy football in a nutshell.
Okay. Yeah. Now, another player, same team, Demaryius Thomas. Thomas, the number 2 wide receiver in fantasy this year, behind only Antonio Brown. Demaryius Thomas, 2 catches, 11 yards.
That's a fantasy day.
2 catches, 11 yards. Man, I lost a league where I dominated all year. I'm in first place. Our playoffs started last week,
Right.
so I had a bye. This is my first. This is the semifinal, and I am projected to smoke my friend Toby. And Demaryius Thomas goes up, puts up 2 catches, 11 yards. Guess
3.1, huh?
I lost by 2 points in that game, that whole week. Aaron Rodgers luckily brought me back and even brought me within 2. But Demaryius Thomas, 3.1 fantasy points. You're talking.
That's terrible.
Oh, God, what
Garbage.
a killer. And I know anybody listening right now, which I don't know how many of you there are. I don't have the monitor up in front of me, but I'm sure there's quite a few. This is a critical time, and I know that you guys have missed me the last couple weeks, and I've missed you. But guess what? Even if I don't have my show and I don't make my show, you can still talk to me throughout the week on Twitter at FantasyCorner17. And tonight, okay, I want you to call in. If you got any questions, please do. 619-866-4567. We're here to, I'm here to either feel your pain or give you a high five over the airwaves here. On your fantasy win, so I want to talk. Also, another couple more Week 14 guys that just crushed you. Drew Brees, 235, 1 touchdown, but he had a couple picks. He had a fumble. Bad stat line. When your quarterback, when a Drew Brees does not reach double-digit fantasy points,
that's terrible.
It's a bad week. Peyton's was worse.
What's with him at home?
What's with the whole New Orleans offense?
I don't
this
get
year?
them at all.
They're
garbage.
Jimmy Graham is smoking all you guys that took him in the first round. He has been a bust.
God,
I'm
kicking myself in one of my leagues.
LaShawn McCoy, 50 yards, no touchdowns, 1 fumble lost.
Not when you're splitting carries with Sproles. You
Good
ain't going to have
Lord.
any good days.
Good Lord. It's just the fantasy letdowns this year. It's crazy. Now, granted, some of these guys have had their good weeks, and I want to ask you guys real quick. Well, Jason, you don't play right now, so you might not know. But
I'll be playing in our league next season, though. We're
yes,
going
we're
to
have a Fantasy Corner Sports Junkies League, which I can't wait for. That should be fun. I'm not going to be the commissioner. I'm not going to have anything to do except just hand you some money and probably smoke you guys.
I'll commission the league.
You're going to commission,
and
All
we'll
right.
do a $20 buy-in.
Cool.
Okay? Sound good?
Friendly.
And
I like it.
we can talk some smack on our show.
I like it.
Yeah.
So this has been a disappointing weekend, just in so many aspects.
You know, I have to tell you, I was very excited in your league this year, just making the playoffs. I was very stoked.
Hey, first year you made it, man.
I'm not. Yeah, I know.
Hey, high five!
No,
hey,
I can take the good with the bad. I can see the good out of what happened. I drafted better this year. I made a lot of critical moves during the season to get better players, and I'm proud of myself. I got 4 seed in the playoffs. Fortunately, 3 studs: Julius Thomas. I had Deshaun Jackson out, and I also had Rashad Jennings. Game time decision, he might get 5 carries.
Right.
Not in the playoffs, no thank you. So I had to start LeGarrette Blount and Ryan Matthews. So, you're struggling. You're struggling. It sucks.
I know. So, quick question to you, anyone listening right now, too. If you want to call in.
We got a few people in the chat room
619-866-4567.
Not in the chat room, but
and
listen.
if you're in the chat room, go
get
ahead and
into the chat room.
Yeah, get into it and listen in and hit me up with your questions. But the question I have for you, Justin, and anyone listening, who is the biggest fantasy bust of 2014?
Ooh, I would have to go LaShawn McCoy, to be honest. As high as pick as he was, he's probably not the biggest. I would say him and Jimmy Graham have to be the biggest disappointments in fantasy football this year. There's probably some other guys you might mention, but off the top of the head, I drafted Jimmy Graham pretty high in one of my $100 leagues, and he failed to deliver on multiple occasions, many of occasions. I think the other week he went 0 catches for 0 yards, didn't even get targeted.
Yep.
Or the same amount of catches as you had that week.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, something I scratched my head at. Who are you thinking, Steve?
In my opinion, the biggest fantasy bust that was the most overhyped guy in the preseason and at the end of last year.
Are you going to go with it?
Was wide receiver for the Minnesota Vikings, Cordell Patterson.
That's right.
That guy.
You were talking a lot about him in preseason. I remember.
Myself and all the other fantasy geniuses out there.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. I don't know.
He's not even playing.
You know, a guy that's comparable to him that was supposed to have a really good year and fantasy radar, Ladarius Green. Was supposed to be a fantasy type tight end this year, where you can get him later in the rounds.
Yep.
And he did nothing this year.
Yeah.
And thank God nobody.
Well, Gates bounced back.
Oh, Gates has had. I've had Gates all year. I just Ladarius Green was another one of those kind of guys. Fantasy hype. A lot of hype.
It's been a crusher year. And then the guys that go in week 2 or 3 and get the waiver wire pickup, like on Mike Evans, Odell Beckham, ODB.
Yeah, killed it.
You get these rookies that are just crushing right now. So it's been a really weird fantasy season, and I haven't really seen anything like this before. I really haven't. This has been a year where you have, probably 10 of the top 20 picks severely underperformed their draft position.
I think this sets up next year's draft to be quite interesting because now
which direction are you going to go?
Right, and then you kind of hit on it. A lot of rookies this year stepping up, having good seasons. Now it kind of cements them in next year as a top 5 round type player. We get a Mike Evans, maybe 5th round, 6th round.
Yep.
Who else? Stills, Kenny Stills from. You just can name a few guys here. Where Brandon Cooks, who unfortunately went down, another one of my guys with injury. I've had so many injuries, but you kind of look around and you go, man, these guys are going to be here the next year. The next year, you're going to have so many decisions to make. On
if
who
you guys are just tuning in, we are talking about playoffs. Here at the Fantasy Corner of San Diego Sports Junkies. If you want to join the conversation, please give me a call, 619-866-4567. Always tune in at www.sandiegosportsjunkies.com/fantasy. We're talking playoff dreams coming true.
Depression.
And we're talking some playoff depression. I'm unfortunately, it's just been one of those weekends for me, and so depression, can't stand it.
Right. That's why we're talking about it. We're talking it out.
All right, also a couple of really big injuries, man. I mean, the 2 killer injuries. Brandon Marshall. Luckily, he's actually okay, man. But he had a ruptured spleen.
That's a gnarly knee.
Punctured lung.
That's a gnarly knee.
Broken ribs, dude. Man, that is. I mean, in Marshall,
he had a rough year.
He's 30. No, he ain't a young
chicken.
buck. He's not a spring chicken anymore. So, Brandon Marshall out for the year. That's disappointing. I made a pretty stellar trade to get him, and didn't pay off. Well, it paid off for a couple weeks. Also, Andre Ellington, he had that. All week it was I guess a hip pointer, but they were talking about he was like a game time call until I guess like Saturday, and they said he was out, and then after the game Sunday. They put him on the IR. He's out for the season with a hip pointer.
It kills you.
If anybody out there that's listening, I know I have a huge following from UCSD Medical Center. If you guys are doctors, I want you to go ahead and call me here, 619-866-4567, and please let me know what the hell is a hip pointer, okay?
It points at your hip.
The reason I want to know is because the next time I need to call into work, I'm going to tell them I have a hip pointer and I can't come in today.
You better know what it is if you're going to call in.
And I need to have an explanation.
Right.
And hopefully you guys can write me a doctor's note too.
Right.
All right, you guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break here. And when we come back, I'm going to talk about some studs from Week 14 and then go into, who you should pick up for next week. So stay tuned here and listen to a little music here from Iration. Let it roll for about 30 seconds, guys.
Never thought I'd see you again. Man, was I mistaken? Now my heart is thinking it's too hard to comprehend that I'm falling. Hoping that you feel this way too. Said I'm falling. Sitting here waiting for you. Expert of illusion, I just kept to using. Thought I had it all worked out.
Millionaires are being made all season long at DraftKings.com, America's favorite one-week fantasy football site.
1 week fantasy means no season-long commitments. Play whenever you want.
Got a player who's hurt? No problem.
Injuries won't derail your shot at victory because it's like a new season every week, so you're never stuck with the same players.
Pick your team in minutes, and you could be on your way to winning huge cash.
This season, one listener turned $10 into $5,000. Another turned $2 into $10,000.
And a new millionaire has been crowned nearly every week this season at DraftKings.com.
You could be next. Imagine winning $1 million in one day just playing fantasy football at DraftKings.
Head to DraftKings.com now and use promo code Spreaker to play free in the $10 million Fantasy Football World Championships.
DraftKings.com. Bigger events, bigger winnings, bigger millionaires. Enter Spreaker now at DraftKings.com. DraftKings.com. That's DraftKings.com.
Cali Comfort Barbecue in Spring Valley was built for West Coast Sunday morning football and fight night. Cali Comfort Barbecue has quickly become San Diego's slow smoke barbecue sports entertainment destination. Full service catering available for all your tailgating needs. CaliComfortSD.com.
Hey everybody, this is Jason from the San Diego Sports Junkies. When you're finished letting Steve-O show you how to win your fantasy league, I want to invite you to listen to us, the San Diego Sports Junkies. We're a show for the fans, by the fans. We're talking Chargers, Padres, Aztecs, and any other San Diego sports that you may be interested in. The show is every Wednesday at 7. Go to our website at SanDiegoSportsJunkies.com or listen to us at Spreaker.com or iHeartRadio.com. Be sure to participate in the chat room during the show. Your voice will be heard.
Does it make you stop, think? You'll think you're looking at Aquaman. I summon fish to the dish, although I like the chalet Swiss. I like the sushi, cause it's never touch a frying pan. Hot like wasabi when I bust rhymes. Big like Leanne rhymes, because I'm all about value. Bert Camper's got the mad hits. You try to match wits, you try to hold me but I bust through. Gonna make a break and take a bake. I like a stinking ache and shake. I like vanilla, it's the finest of the flavors. Gonna see the show, cause then you'll know the vertigo is gonna grow, cause it's so dangerous, you'll have to sign a waiver. Can't I help it if I think you're funny when you're mad? Trying hard not to smile, though I feel bad. I'm the kind of guy who laughs at a funeral. Can't understand what I mean, well you soon will. I have a tendency.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for listening in there over the break. And you are listening to now the Fantasy Corner of San Diego Sports Junkies. I'm your boy Steve-O. And with me as always, I got Justin and Jason. What's up, guys? What's up, dude? Howdy. So before the break, what were we talking about? We were talking about some playoff heartache. I don't know if any of you had a weekend like me. But my weekend, my fantasy football, it was just, ouch. Killer.
Oh, yeah.
It's all right. Life goes on, right?
It does.
And you know why I missed?
It's depressing, man.
You know what, you guys? I've missed the last couple weeks, and I gotta apologize to everyone because I know this is a very critical time. And you probably needed me,
right?
And guess what? I know I missed a show. I'm sorry. I was working,
but you weren't there. I
have a very, very busy job, busy life. But if you guys happen to miss me on the show, you can hit me up all week on Twitter at FantasyCorner17. Please hit me up, okay? And again, every Wednesday, 5:30, www.SanDiegoSportsJunkies.com/fantasy. So welcome back to the show. Before the break, we were talking about some duds, and now I want to talk about some studs. There was a couple guys, man, okay. I mean, there's literally two people that put up some of the best fantasy numbers of all time. Julio Jones. Wow.
That guy killed it.
Oh, my gosh.
He almost single-handedly won the game, came back and beat Green Bay.
What was it? It was 13 catches, 259 yards.
Weren't they down like 4 touchdowns at halftime?
It was insane.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Julio Jones. That guy, and unfortunately, he actually injured himself there at the end of the game. That guy, Julio Jones, he's literally uncoverable. He's such a playmaker, that guy. And when he's 100%, man, him and Matt Ryan.
When Matt Ryan's on, though, too.
Dude, Matt Ryan, 375, 4 TD passes. And if he was one of your, if you snuck into the playoffs with Matt Ryan as your QB, you probably just moved on to the next round and beat that number 2 seed, number 3 seed guy because hell of a stat line.
Right.
Good job there, Falcons. Also, this is no brainer. This guy's been on the top of the boards here for the last 4 weeks. Odell Beckham Jr. I like to call him ODB. ODB, wide receiver for the Giants, 11 catches, 130 yards, 1 touchdown. The guy's unstoppable. He makes a living of these circus catches every week. I think he prides himself on these highlight reels, and he likes to be on one of the top plays every week, literally, because he'll almost go out of his way just to catch a one-hander, just because it looks pretty. That guy, what a talent.
He is a talent.
Some of the best hands I've seen in forever. This guy can catch anything. Megatron, 8 catches, 158 yards, 1 touchdown. Huge if you're in that league that gives you the bonuses at 100 and 150. Calvin's coming back and getting hot at the right time, dude. Money. And probably the hottest guy in fantasy here the last 6 weeks, running back for the Pittsburgh Steelers, Le'Veon Bell.
Killing it.
God.
Yeah.
He had
like 50 points in fantasy last
dude, well, in our league, we have a lot of bonuses.
Right.
But Le'Veon Bell, 185 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns. I think he caught like 8 balls for another 50 yards. I mean, he's just... Oh, Le'Veon Bell, man.
It's crazy.
I am so glad. I'm a Bell owner in one league. The one league that I'm still surviving in. I still have a matchup this week.
Right.
And if I can win this week, I'll be on to the final. So Le'Veon Bell is my sole survivor here in that league. I am so glad that Pittsburgh got rid of Blunt. And Le'Veon Bell is literally paid dividends on that second round pick.
Blunt
Blunt
actually, I picked him up first week he was in New England. I picked him up, and he actually won me my...
I couldn't believe you did that.
I had him. Remember, I had him at the beginning of the year.
Genius.
Yeah. Well,
genius.
Well,
I thought I even texted him, Jason. I was like, dude, what a pick.
Well,
he sat. Who did you sit? You sat somebody.
I said Fred Jackson.
He sat Fred Jackson,
Blunt.
who's like, I mean, oh man, I couldn't believe you did that.
Yeah.
That was so money.
Speaking of pickups and stuff, is Anderson worth a pickup now?
C.J. Anderson?
No. Anderson and
Derek Anderson.
Yeah, Derek
with
Anderson.
Cam Newton out. No.
With Cam Newton getting hurt. Yeah. Is Derek Anderson?
If you're in a deep league.
Yeah, you'd have to be in a pretty deep league, right?
I mean, you know what sucks is Greg Olson's value is completely annihilated now with Newton out.
Yeah.
Okay? And Olson's been a top 4 tight end all year. Derek Anderson, no. He's not. He's not a guy to go pick up.
He's not a fantasy stud. Or
You know who you pick up?
If
There's two quarterbacks to pick up. It's going to sound silly. One of them's Eli Manning.
Who's he playing?
God, that guy.
They're playing Washington.
Yeah, that's a good matchup.
He's got ODB. That's all I got to say now.
Yeah.
He doesn't need anybody else. It could be Eli and ODB, and that guy will go up and get the ball.
No, you're right. Because remember when you used to have Plaxico Burress and what's his face, Cruz over there. I mean, you got a guy to throw to now. So
now, and guess who else you need to go pick up?
Marquis Sanchez.
No.
He hasn't. You know what? He's been
you guys, 2 more picks.
Johnny Manziel.
Johnny Football. Good job. Okay, Cleveland. Now this is the thing. I feel bad for Hoyer. He's had a 3-game stretch of some bad games, but he got them to where they were at. Yeah. Hoyer has been money all year. He's had a 3-game. That's the problem when you draft a young quarterback like Johnny Manziel, who comes out of college. His nickname's Johnny Football. You got to have a sack the size of Kansas to have your last name be Football.
Right.
Okay, like you're coming in, people are going to aim for your head, right? But with that media attention, dude, Cleveland is such a mess. Such a mess. They are playing lights out. That game with Indianapolis was so freaking close. But they are playing lights out, and now they're going to switch the whole offense to Johnny Football. An undersized, mobile quarterback who I know he wants to go put on a show,
right?
And I think he's going to get murdered on Sunday.
Most likely,
I think he's going to die. I don't want him to.
I think it's going to be fun to see him run for 4 touchdowns this week.
God, he could do that. But
I think you're crazy if you think
he's a pickup. Hey, okay, but as much as I say he's going to die, he's going to go out there, like you said, he's going to run. He's probably going to rush for 200 yards.
He runs. This is what he did at Texas A&M. He ran for his life and he chucked the football down the field. And some miraculous catch by Mike Evans takes. He was at Texas A&M with him, so Mike Evans goes up and gets all the balls. Johnny Manziel's a stud, though. I think my prediction this week, 2 rushing touchdowns for Johnny Manziel. Naked bootlegs up the yin-yang.
I like that prediction.
Yeah.
Also, Arian Foster, another solid game. He's been such a dude. People were drafting Foster in like the 3rd and 4th round and getting so much value out of him.
Everybody was afraid of the injuries.
Comeback player
of the year for sure. Him or Antonio Gates, tell you the truth. Gates has
had a great year.
I mean, because the people weren't even drafting Gates, and he's a top 5 tight end. So That's money. But Foster, 127 yards and a touchdown. Good shit. I have a quick question for you. What happened to the Arizona running back? So Andre Ellington's a game-time scratch, right? So as an Ellington owner in every single league, what do?
You go pick up his backup.
Well,
Yeah,
the
Marion
backup.
Grice?
Well, first, Stephen Taylor was supposed to be the starter. I actually went and picked up Stephen Taylor and Marion Grice. Then guess who stole the show? Kerwin Williams.
Yes.
Who the fuck is Kerwin Williams?
I'll tell you what,
Someone-
Kerwin Williams was with the Chargers in there.
Who is Kerwin Williams?
Kerwin
And where
Williams.
was he in all this? I mean, does Arizona just want to screw every fantasy owner that's invested
Yes.
into Ellington?
Yes.
Because Stephen Taylor did jack shit.
Yeah.
Kerwin Williams goes up, puts up a bill.
You
A
need to
C
contact Bruce Arians about this.
I could not
You have a
believe it,
disgruntled gripe.
I'm irritated. So here, some week 15 pickups. Marquise Wilson, wide receiver for Chicago.
Right.
No brainer. Brandon Marshall's out. Alshon Jeffrey's going to be drawing double coverage. Any
Right.
other coverage is going to be going to the tight end, Martellus Bennett. Hey, why not give the rookie a chance? Cutler's got a cannon. Is he going to go up and save your season? Maybe. I
Right.
don't know. But that's a good pickup this week. Marquise Wilson, wide receiver for Chicago. Also, Eli Manning, good pickup this
What
week.
about Charles Johnson that you got in the league that I wanted, and you got him before me for the Vikings?
I would definitely go pick up Charles Johnson. He's put up
He's a
double
stud.
digit fantasy points for the last 3 weeks in a row.
You got him literally 10 minutes before I wanted him.
Because I'm not
Because
good.
you're
Because I'm not good.
quick
So
to the draw, bro.
Charles Johnson, wide receiver for Minnesota. He's taken over the Cordarrelle Patterson role.
Cordell Patterson had a role?
Yeah. Well,
What role was that? The
I don't
bench?
know. Yeah.
Yeah, that guy sucks.
Also, Kerwin Williams. Fuck that guy. I'm sorry. I usually don't ever cuss on the program. I literally have had.
But
the
that's what's
worst.
the beauty of the program is.
I've
you
had,
can-
for anyone listening, I just had the worst weekend, and it's just, God, Kerwin Williams, dude. I couldn't believe it. That killed me.
Hey, you
Joshua,
What's up, brother?
how you doing?
You're looking sexy, so I know the weekend sucks.
You know what's
but,
funny
you
is
know,
I got to tell everyone listening right now, my hair is on point,
It used to be,
And
but now you have a microphone.
it's definitely coming to a point.
and unfortunately, nobody listening to the podcast can actually see the faux hawk doing its duty.
Justin can snap an image and
I
put
can-
it on social media.
It's-
I'll put it on Twitter.
It's panty dropping right now. Right now. I literally, Justin walked in, his boxers just went.
I had to get a napkin from the kitchen. 1, 2, and 3, and that'll be on Twitter.
Twitter.
All right, so yeah, if you guys want to check out the hair on Twitter, follow me at Fantasy Corner 17. Also, if you want to get in a quick phone call before I leave, because I'm out of material. Surprisingly, 619-866-4567. You guys, I got a couple weeks left in the season. Follow me every Wednesday. Please actually tune in every Wednesday, www.sandiego@sportsjunkies.com/fantasy. And remember, here at 7 o'clock tonight, we have the Sports Junkies show. So if you guys want to talk anything and everything to do with sports in San Diego, there's a lot to talk about, especially with our Padres trying to make some big moves.
Yes, sir.
So I'm excited to see what happens, and I'm excited to listen to the show. So if you guys also before I peace out this week, hold on with the music. Week 15 studs.
Oh.
No, actually, let's go week 15 sits.
Go ahead.
What does a C mean?
Go ahead. Keep going.
Okay.
It's a word we can't use on the show. No, I'm just kidding.
The C word?
I was joking.
I was like, what? Totally confused me for a second. All right, week 15 sits. Russell Wilson at home versus San Francisco. He's been on a tear, and he's been rushing like crazy, but, man, San Francisco coming off a loss.
I think the
Like
world's
they
catching
did.
up to Russell
I
Wilson.
don't know,
to be honest
man.
with you.
The 49ers look like crap.
I don't know, man, but this is the game that Wilson can lay an egg. It's going to be like the Marshawn Lynch show, you
I
know?
think it's an egg layer.
Jay Cutler at home versus New Orleans. It's no brainer. He lost one of his best weapons. So
You know
he's
what's
going
funny is Jay Cutler's had a decent fantasy season, though, hasn't he? I mean, as bad as he's
the
been,
first few weeks, he was
overall, he hasn't been a terrible fantasy quarterback, has he?
He's been all right. Jordy Nelson at Buffalo.
Oh.
We just saw what Buffalo did to Demaryius Thomas. So what do you think they're going to do to our Caucasian buddy?
I think they're going to do nothing. I think he's going to
I
have a
think
big game.
Jordy Nelson's going to have a huge game
Yeah.
along with Randall Cobb.
I think Devontae Adams is going to have the big game.
Yes,
not
because they're
Jordy
gonna be
Nelson.
double-teaming
Yeah,
him.
so Alshon Jeffrey versus New Orleans. I don't think he's going to have a big game. I think, again, it's going to be a Matt Forte dump-off show.
Right.
Or that rookie I mentioned earlier, Marquise Wilson. Sorry. Alfred Morris at the New York Giants, you got I don't even know who's starting. I don't know if it's going to be
does.
McCoy, I don't know if it's going to be RG3. All I know is that if I owned Alfred Morris, I'm not going to start him this week because he's not reliable anymore, and it is what it is. Also, Mark Ingram at Chicago. Ingram was on a stretch there. He had a few good games, about a 5-game run of 100 yards or more every game, and he's now had a 2-game dud, 2 in a row. So if you actually survived the Ingram nightmare the last 2 weeks, I'd actually go ahead and sit him again. There's tons of guys I'd play over Ingram. I'd play Denard Robertson over Ingram. I'd play Fred Jackson over Ingram. New Orleans, that whole offense.
Maurice Jones-Drew?
Ooh, no. No. However, Latavius Murray, yes, absolutely. I picked up and started that guy when it was a 1% owned.
That's when he went off.
I picked him up. It was 2 weeks ago.
It was the Denver game, or the Kansas City game.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago. Picked him up.
Then he got hurt.
And started him. He was 1% owned, and he went up and put up 104 or 5 yards.
2 touchdowns.
2 touchdowns with 4 carries. Yeah. Oh, it was genius. I was patting myself on the back. That ego was just growing.
Yeah.
God, that's the last thing I need right now. I don't have an ego anymore, by the way. So, hey, guys, this has been Week 14's edition of the Fantasy Corner of San Diego Sports Junkies. Please tune in next week and enjoy a little iration here on the way out. Actually, this is Revolution. Enjoy some Revolution. See ya.
All right. Tell them you're sorry, but there's ways to change the wrong to right. See, we can sit in a distant haze and watch rain clouds for thoughts of greatness to help our troubles sail real far away. Oh, yeah. Well, it's a struggle every day we're stressing, but what's a life without dedication? I'm gonna pick up that soul's intention to soak in music, relaxation.